This is going to be April's journal page. I have a few things to share, a few new products to talk about, so let's get into this. Welcome to Solitary RPG. Welcome to April's journal page. We do have some products we're going to talk about. I'm going to bring you up to speed on some painting projects that I have completed and a little bit of a channel update. Just so you know, this is the deluxe version of Mothership that finally landed, so I'm excited to talk a little bit about that. But before we get into the product review, let's talk about painting miniatures real fast. In my last update, I talked about a project that I worked on for a company. The Kickstarter went up in April. It was a short Kickstarter. It funded, and I just want to show you the miniatures I painted. I'm very proud of the work I did, and I guess we can call this a flex because I just want to show off something I did. This is the Kickstarter I was part of. It was with Gamelin Game, and it's for Tiny Epic Game of Thrones. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the Kickstarter page, you will see the miniatures that I painted for them. These are 24mm miniatures, kind of same scale as their Tiny Epic Dungeon. A lot of fun to paint. But yeah, so these are the miniatures I painted for them. Really hard to paint some of these miniatures simply because of the scale and trying to not make them too bright and cheery. Game of Thrones is a very dark world, and I was trying to stay with the aesthetics of the IP and also the card art, which have a lot of like dark colors, browns and dark reds. But I feel I did pretty good. Like, I'm really happy how Jamie turned out here. I got to use some metallic colors I don't get to use that often, like a platinum, to really make that armor almost look like a white metal, which was a lot of fun. A lot of details on these miniatures. So yeah, I just had a good time. These are my three favorite right here because of the colors. I got to actually use some bright colors, and it was just a lot of fun to paint them. So that was a project I was not able to share until the Kickstarter went public, and now that it's over, it funded, yeah, my miniatures will live on this Kickstarter page. Speaking of miniatures, I'm still chipping away at all of my next level miniatures. So I finished up these models. Really happy how this one turned out. Using the purple and the green. I'm sorry, it's not a very good look camera wise, but it's just got a lot I want to go over, so I'm just kind of cranking through this real fast. I started working on all of the creature encounters, so I had like 6 of these spiders done, and I got a bunch of goblins done, so I'm just cranking on a lot of the encounter models, just blowing them out. And I also finished yet another door because I like these doors. I like, even though it's more of a mystical closed door, I still think it's kind of cool and I like them. And then my last miniature project, I started working on, these are Stargrave models, so sci-fi models. My buddy is wanting to run a campaign of Stargrave. We're going to give it a shot and see how it does. So I picked up a pack of the Stargrave models, so I'm just painting these up. So that's all my miniature conversation. So now let's get into some product. I got some mystery dice I want to share. I've got a new style of dice. I got some dice my buddy sent me. I got some games to talk about. So let's just kind of run through this. First thing I want to go over is Road to Haven. This is a new supplement for Zombicide. If you're not familiar, I did a campaign, like a how to play Zombicide solo, kind of created some new mechanics for the game to kind of balance some things out. But now this is an actual campaign. It does offer a few new character types that you can play. A firefighter, that's a pyromaniac. But then it's just got a long campaign that you can actually run a group through. Probably not something I would do solo, but maybe there's some new sites and things in here. I'm just excited that CMON Games is still supporting this game and putting out product for it. I also picked up Mystic Punks. This is all the zines put into one book. Got this from Exalted Funeral. It also came with a degloved hand sticker because it's shaped like a coffin to go into that box. And this cool little like trading card, but just promoting the new Mystic Punks Kickstarter that was going on for this being turned into an RPG. This is a solo game and I'm going to play it, but it's probably not something that I will do any kind of deep review on the channel for, because it's kind of like a choose your own adventure type of a game that a lot of spoilers, and I would hate to do it because it looked like an interesting game of playing like back in the 80s in high school. I could have a lot of fun with that, so did pick that up. I also picked up this from Dungeon Crawl Classics. Now, I don't play Dungeon Crawl Classics on the channel. I own it because I think it's just a neat rule system. But the reason I picked up the Sorcerer's Tower is one of my favorite YouTubers, and I'm going to probably not pronounce the YouTube channel correctly, Kyocalypse. He and others were part of a gameplay of this, and I found this very interesting because it feels like whoever created this listened to Rush 2112 and wrote an adventure. I'm a big Rush fan, love Rush's music, all their music. I've never been turned off by any of the Rush songs or their music. I like how they've evolved as a band over the years, even facing a lot of tragedy as a band currently with the loss of Neil. But to have them write this in adventure, I just thought it was neat. I picked it up because these adventures are like 10 bucks. They're not expensive, and I just wanted to read it. And that's basically the only reason. Sometimes I just buy stuff to read it, and I have no intentions of doing anything with it. And that's why I bought this, because I just wanted to pick up on all of the little nuances that they threw in there about 2112, which is a phenomenal album. And if you know anything about Rush, that was their album that was kind of their last hurrah, because they thought they were going to get cut from the label. So they just said, hey, let's do something different. And they did something different, and it really paid off for them. So anyways, that's why I picked that up. I was watching the Amazing Axor channel, and he did a kind of a flip through of these field notes for, there's the Game Master Journal, and I also picked up the Character Journal. At the start of 2024, I revisited my journaling habits, my personal journaling habits, and one of the things I've implemented into my personal journaling habits is keeping a pocket notebook. It's a whole different thing. I don't want to get into my habits there, but he was reviewing field notes, which are some of the notebooks I use for pocket journals, and just did a flip through, and I was like, you know, that looked kind of interesting. I've seen these advertised. I was like, to me it looked very gimmicky. But his flip through kind of convinced me I should take a look at it. So I picked up the GM one and the character journals. I just think they're neat. Field notes have really good quality paper. It's nice to write on. And I just thought these were kind of cool. And I think the character journal, if you have a revisiting character like I do with Bastien, I might just create one of these just simply for him and all of his adventures that he goes on and stuff like that. I don't know. I just thought they were neat, so that's why I picked them up. Yes, we're getting closer to Mothership. But before we get into Mothership, let's talk about Hot Springs Island. I'm going to shift everything around. I finally picked this up. This is a game that has been talked a lot about on YouTube channels, and it is one of the inspirations in Outcast Silver Raiders, which is actually the rule system I'm using for my current campaign that I'm playing. And I'm loving those rules so much that it finally forced me, I guess, or convinced me to pull the trigger and just pick this up, because some of the mechanics, especially with the poker chips and tracking time, came from Hot Springs Island. This is a system neutral setting that I think is just amazing. So you got two books. So you have a GM's book which kind of goes over the world and sharing everything, giving you all your adventure sites. I love just how they laid it out. The art is phenomenal. And you just have all the GM guide. Like, this is just a cool GM's guide that I'm like, okay, this will work. And I'm going to probably use Pirate Borg to play this system, or play in this world, I guess would be a better way of saying that. Because I think Pirate Borg is cool, and I think it will fit because this is an island, and Pirate Borg's about pirates, and they go exploring. But there's just some things I need to work out in my mind to make this work. But what's really neat about it, let me put this off to the side, and let's kind of clear some space, is this book here. So this is the field guide to Hot Springs Island, and this is something you would actually give your players. You give them this journal, like they come onto the shore, this is what they find, and this gives them all the information they need to be in that world. So they literally can read this book and know everything about Hot Springs Island. It has that journal quality to it, like somebody was writing in it and keeping track of things and talking about all the stuff that they found, the languages and the beast and just everything. It even has kind of that, you know, captain's log vibe to it, like on certain days they found, you know, they did certain things. And I don't know, it was just, I just like what they did. First of all, I also just love the book. If you know my channel, you know I'm into books, book binding and all that. I love how they did this faux leather strap along the spine, cutting off half the image. It's just amazing. It just feels good in my hands. And I just love it. Like, it's just a good looking book, and I thought this was just a very cool way for the players to learn about the world, have all the information they need in a journal book, and it's up to them to read it. Like, put some of the work on the players to learn about something, like learn about the world that they're in, and I just thought this was cool. Here's what I'm talking about, like day 15, and then they do these stories. This doesn't carry on throughout the whole book. It's just on a few pages, and then it just gets into everything. So they know what they're up against. There's no stats or anything. This is just great information. Love it. So that's why I picked it up. I'm going to use Pirate Borg to play in it because why not? Simple, easy system like Morkborg or anything else. And all I'm going to do is find myself stranded on an island and see what happens. So now I'm at a crossroads. Do I show off Mothership, or do I open up my mystery dice and talk about dice? I think we need to roll a dice to decide which direction we go next. Odds, we do dice. Evens, we do Mothership. And I rolled a 3, so we got odds. We do dice next. And these particular dice were given to me by my friend who went to Adepticon. We are, you know, 40K junkies, or miniatures, I should just say miniatures junkies, not necessarily all 40K. But these have a cool orc symbol head on it. Kind of hard to show the red on the top of that, but these are just orc dice. They're a good small size because when you play 40K orcs, you need to roll a lot of dice. So he sent me those as a gift of something he picked up at Adepticon. This is just something I saw and I thought was interesting. This is like a fidget spinner dice thing. Like, you have an arrow pointing, you have on one side a D10, a D12, and a D20. On the other side, you have a D4, D6, and a D8. And it's just kind of like a fidget spinning kind of a dice. And I just thought this was a neat concept, especially if you're playing on the go. So if you're going on vacation, or if you're just playing maybe at work and you're not supposed to, and you don't want to have like a bunch of dice, you know, sitting around, you may just want to get something like this as just a cool way of having dice. Or if you're one of those people that like a fidget spinner, what a cool fidget spinner to have a dice. I know these aren't new, I've just never owned one before, so I picked one up because I thought it would just be a great little dice mechanic thing to take with me if I go on vacation or something like that. It is limited though, because you only have one of every dice. So if you're playing a game that requires like a D6 dice pool, this would be absolutely useless because you'd have to do it a bunch of times to get your results. But if you're playing more of a traditional RPG or game that just, you know, roll a D20, roll a D8, maybe 2 dice, it'd be fine. But if you start getting into dice pool games, this probably wouldn't be as effective. But neither here nor there. That's something I picked up because I thought it would be just a neat little thing to have in my dice collection. Mystery dice. Misfit. These are metal dice. So these were 25 bucks. These are Misfit metal dice. I have been just watching a YouTube channel where a guy just opens up mystery dice. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. I forget what it is off the top of my head. And I was at my local game store and I saw they had these Misfit dice, which are one of the packages that he had opened on his channel, and he got some really cool Misfit dice. So I'm like, hey, I've got some money to spend, so why don't I take a chance and see what I would get. These are metal dice, and you get a full set, but they're Misfit dice, so it's not a matching set. So this, just don't like pink. Kind of a cool D8 green. I like that. This D12 is awesome. Look at that D12. I should zoom in on this. Look at that D12. That is just cool. This D20 is phenomenal. I love this. That was worth the cost of admission. I got another D10, so that was my percentile. This is just a regular D10. Kind of sharp around the edges. Kind of cool. I love this D6. Like, that flame effect is phenomenal. Can't really see the numbers that well, which, that's just part of life. Boy, what a wicked D4. I can't read that without my glasses because I'm getting too much shine off of the... yeah, this is terrible. Cool design, but I probably would need to paint the numbers, but I don't know, I could just use that as a piece of terrain for my games. But anyways, yeah, I just thought this was neat. I really like this D20. I will put that in my collection. I don't normally roll metal dice, especially my dice trays, because it would destroy them. But, I don't know, D6 is really cool. They're great for just marking stuff, though, because they don't bounce around as easily as plastic or resin dice. Very cool. All right, so let's get into Mothership. My copy has finally landed. I got the deluxe version of Mothership. This is something I backed many years ago, and it finally had delivered. It was supposed to deliver November of 2022, April 2024. We're not doing too bad. The box is great. It did come damaged, so the box itself is fine. So in the deluxe version, it comes like this. And you open it up. This is actually on the bottom. I just put it on the inside. You get your little scan thing for character creation. You get your cool GM screen. It's not super thick material, but it's thick enough to work. I don't have a problem with this. It looks really cool, you know, very aesthetic looking on the back. You get your standees, which these are really nice black and white standees. You got a front side and a back side, which is cool. You get your poster, and then you get all your books, and this is where my damage happened. These side compartments don't have anything in them, and what ended up happening just through shipping, no fault of the manufacturers or anything like that, boxes get dropped. They just don't get treated well in shipping, and what ended up happening, there's a lot of books in this. So I got my core books, and I got my Warden books, and I got all my supplement books, and I get adventure books, and like there's just a lot of like zines. I'll rephrase that in here, and you can see how, you know, that's a lot of zines. And what happened is they damaged and they broke out these little sidewalls. Like you can see, this was a box that was put in there to help prevent that from happening, and look how crushed it got. So what I ended up having to, this is garbage now, so what I ended up having to do is take these out and just put some Elmer's glue in there and just glued it all back together again to keep it nice and sturdy. just to keep this box in good shape. So, but the box is neat. This is where I'll put all my standees. Over here I got my dice, and I got my actual stands for my standees. And then I have, whoops, something's keeping that from closing. There it goes. There's actually, these are magnetic closures. It's like, you can hear that. So, and you got these little tabs. It's a nice box, like gorgeous box. But yeah, so now I've got all my Mothership materials, and I just recently ordered, what was it? There's a solo supplement out for this game, like 1,000 lights or something like that. I ordered that because I want to play this solo, and that's supposed to be a solo adventure, so I want to give it a run using the Mothership rules. But yeah, this is just, it wasn't an expensive Kickstarter. For what I got, it was only like $99 as a Kickstarter, but this was years ago when times were different. Manufacturing wasn't as expensive as it is today, so it was a very affordable price back in the day. But yeah, this was it. And I also, on top of getting the deluxe box set, I also got the storage box, which is kind of cool. I don't know if this was just part of the Kickstarter or if this is something that I ordered separately. First, they have a little conversion book. This came with everybody's set. So if you had earlier versions of the rules, this is just a little like changes that they made to the rules, and you can still use your old material. I got the patches. I need to do a battle jacket for all my RPG patches that I've been getting lately. But these were in there as well. I got the launch crew, so I ordered, you know, when it went up, I grabbed it, and I also got the landing crew patch. Put those on a battle jacket. The box also comes with like stickers. They're glossy, but I'm assuming can write on them. And the idea is that you would have this box. You can put a sticker here. You can put stickers on wherever you want to put them. You got like a cool little storage box for maybe additional supplements, like if you have older books or fan-made stuff and things like that that might not fit in here. You can just put them in this little storage box. Very cool stuff. Very happy with my purchase. We'll play the game and see how it all pans out in the end. With all the fun stuff out of the way, I'm going to have a little bit of a more serious conversation regarding my recent campaign that I launched. You know, it is hard to make YouTube videos, and as I guess I'm now considered a creator or a content creator, I put a lot of effort into creating videos, and you'll see edits because I cut out dead noise or bad noise, or if I misspeak or something, I edit my videos, put a lot of effort into it, and I put a lot of effort into my Acid Queen campaign. I started working on that months ago, and unfortunately my approach that I'm using to share that campaign is falling flat. I was trying something different. I was trying to not do the same old thing that everybody else does with, here's a rule system, let's create a character, let's roll on some charts, and let's move forward. I was really trying to push the information that's available out in the community and share with people where a lot of these concepts are coming from. Like, what is, you know, Geek Gamers talks about the Solo Game Master Guide, and a lot of people promote that, but I was trying to show this is how you use the book. Like, this is some of the concepts that are shared in this book so that you can kind of develop your own solo games, and videos that other YouTube channels like Daniel at the Dungeon Dive and Trevor over at Me, Myself, and Die that have put out that are really popular videos, but like, here's their information, this is how you use it. And that's kind of the direction I was taking. But for me, what I use as a matrix for knowing if a video is successful or not is not what YouTube uses. I don't care if you click on the thumbnail. I don't care if you watch the video for the 10 minutes. You know, I understand that's what YouTube is going to penalize me if those things don't happen, and they're not going to get my video out in front of other people. But the matrix I use is just simply leaving comments. Anyone can like a video, and we're all probably guilty of it, of watching maybe the first 5-10 minutes of the video, click like and move on, because some videos can be very long and my time is very limited. But that's why I try to keep my videos at 30 minutes, keep them short, keep them sweet, keep them to the point. You know what my video is going to be about by the intro, and then I just go into the contents and try to give you the information as quickly as possible, keep the videos at 30 minutes. That way it kind of fits into like that sitcom 30-minute window for people to watch. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I have to rethink the approach of this campaign that I was doing. I may not even do it on the channel anymore. I might just talk about the rules, talk about some of the other things that I had planned, but it was, to me, it was going to be more of an ongoing story arc. Like the first video did good, but not a lot. I think I had one comment on the 2 videos, which was a little heartbreaking to me. But that's just the way it works. Like, my approach didn't work. I was trying something different. So I think that's probably where I'll go back to with this campaign. As I'm just going to kind of talk about the rules, talk about character generation, maybe do 1 or 2 episodes of how I'm playing the game, and then call it quits. So thank you very much. I will keep doing what I do, sharing what I share. I do love my hobby. I love making videos. Believe it or not, making the videos is part of my hobby, part of my role-playing, because it's just fun. I like editing, I like recording, I like writing scripts, and I like doing the process. But this is also kind of a vlog for me as well. I share my progress. Like, I'm constantly evolving and changing and growing as a person, and as, even though I'm 50, I'll be turning 54 in May, I'm still growing. I don't think I know everything. I don't want to know everything. I think people that think they know everything are people that are closed-minded and aren't growing as people. I'm open-minded to learning new things, and even though I may not agree with a lot of people's viewpoints in life, I still may learn from them, and I'm open-minded to listening. If it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for me. But that's just how life goes. So that was my ramble. Sorry about that. But have a great day, and I'll be back with another video.